to all the beautiful queer superheroes out there. Welcome to yet another gay superhero episode. It's going to be really an amazing one. And I always look forward to these conversations because they end up being very insightful. And I walk away feeling so blessed and kind of feeling like, wow, I'm actually doing the right thing. So welcome to yet another one. So do make sure that you hashtag it. You let everybody know that we are out here doing the most. All right, so my guest today is a lovely, lovely person who is really incredible. They're a creative, an artist, Glow Mami, and I've invited them to come onto the show and really share themselves with us this day, actually. It's going to be dope,
yeah,
right?
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, Glow, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Listen, when I hit you up, I was like very happy that I actually got to do this. Mm-hmm. And when you said yes, I was like, yes.
Perfect.
It's really quite exciting, so thank you.
It really is. No, it's my pleasure. Honestly, it's really mine.
That's amazing. So let's get started. Welcome to the show. I'd really like to just make people feel comfortable on this show and really just kind of get into it and really gonna have fun. Mm-hmm. But I can never get started without actually mentioning the fact that, like, for me, pronouns and how people identify is very important to me. So I often start off the show by saying, hi, my name is MonD, the gay superhero. Mm-hmm. I identify as a gay queer man. My pronouns are he, him, they, them, and their. And so my first question to you would be, how do you identify and what are your pronouns?
You know, for a long time, I thought my pronouns were like she, her. Mm-hmm. But then I realized I'm actually really dynamic because, like, sometimes I'll be, like, in my most femme element. And then other times I'll be going to get a few stuff at the store and I'll be... Yeah, like, it's a doll, you know, it's a doll, but, like, she's giving tomboy. So I think I'll move to more, like, she, they.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels more natural now.
It does, doesn't it? I honestly love they and she as well. Like, they as well is, like, dope, because it's just, like, I feel like it's non-binary. Yeah. And it just exists in that ability to just be, like, fluid. Yeah. And I think I love that about it. So dope. That's amazing. Thank you so much for coming. All right, I'd really like to just go back into it. Like, for me, when I look back into my childhood, it's always such a very important thing to just recognize the fact that, like, being aware of your identity is not something that a lot of people become conscious to. So I'm very keen to find out, like, your earliest memory where you became aware of your identity. You're like, okay, this is me.
To be honest, I've always been aware of it, hey? Because I remember I was a baby and I would wear T-shirts as hair. Like, I love big hair. I've always loved big hair. That's always been my favorite thing ever. And my mom would give me these trucks. I used to have nice toys. Yeah. But then I wouldn't play with these trucks. I would get my sister's Barbie and then I'd put it inside the truck. And then only then could I be able to play around with this truck. Oh, wow. But the truck on its own just did not make sense. It would just make my skin crawl. Like, no, this is not happening. But put the doll inside, then we can, like, do whatever.
Wow. And so that's, like, your earliest memory with you playing with toys.
Yeah, that was, like, my earliest memory of how I felt most natural. Like, truthfully, it's like, this does not resonate with me, but this is it. Yeah. Yeah, that's, like, the earliest. That's really
amazing. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, when you first become aware of who you are and you just know it, but it's so unfortunate that a lot of queer people get born into a world, the moment they realize that they're, like, different, the world makes them feel different. Yeah. You know, and that becomes such a very hostile thing to them because they don't really know how to navigate the world from there on. So I'm very keen to find, like, what are the challenges that you faced when you became aware of who you are?
I think the trauma of being overly exposed as different was very hectic because it comes with a lot of shame, like shameful feelings. And, you know, babies don't know how to protect themselves from that. They haven't developed those kind of, like, critical thinking skills of, like, no, this has nothing to do with me. This is all about you. You carry your own trauma. You know, you're vulnerable to whatever people say about you. And I think that's the worst part of being queer and just generally being a child and growing up in this world is that you're literally, you don't have any armor at all, and whatever people throw at you is what you might carry on for the rest of your life. So yeah,
that's really amazing. I mean, you know what, that's so true. I mean, when you live with that trauma, it plays a huge role in how you just get to navigate different spaces. And you often just tend to think to yourself, like, am I really okay with just being myself? And not having somebody to be there to tell you that it's okay to just be you is also just a whole different thing. So I just want to know, like, who did you share your identity with when you first became aware of it? You know, like, sometimes you just become like...
I told my sister. I was in... You know, for the longest time, I was just like, Because I was bullied since the get-go. I was
Yeah.
never able to fit in at all. And there was this kid who used to call me gay, gay, gay all the time. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And then each time I would see people who were like me, I was like, oh, that's gay. And then it would just create these very uncomfortable feelings within me. But then the first time I came to that awareness that it's not a bad thing was in my 8th grade, and I told my sister, and then she was with her boyfriend, and they're like, oh no, it's okay, you're amazing, we love you.
Oh,
And
that's so
but I'm not
sweet.
that's the first time I could put words onto it and be like, okay, so this is it. But with my story is that it grew into another level where I realized, like, this is not the right label for me. This does not
Yeah,
fit.
it doesn't
It's too
stick with me.
tight.
Yeah.
Like, mm-mm. And then I had to grow into that, and for a long time I was unaware of it until I made friends with some really. This is why, like, you need to be careful of who your friends are, because
Yeah.
they can either open doors, and I mean, like, doesn't even have to be like doors of opportunity. It can be like doors of self exploration and getting to know
Yeah.
yourself better. So they literally just revolutionized how I understood myself, and I've never been the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, when we talk about friendship, we often talk about chosen family and how that's very important to us. And very often that when a person comes out to their family or they tell their family that this is their identity, their family then, tends to isolate them, ostracize them, and really make them feel like, it's not okay to be themselves. So I really, really want to know is like, how did your family receive you in the larger sphere when you then became to embrace your identity, and sometimes it can be such a stifling thing. So I'm very keen to find that out. How was that like from your parents and other members of the family?
So when I came out as in 8th grade,
Yes.
gay, or when I came out.
When you fully embrace your identity to yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
because like the second time I really didn't come out. I was just living myself as myself. I was already working then, and I just started embracing myself and dressing how I felt most comfortable. And then my parents saw my pictures on WhatsApp, my WhatsApp
Shout out to WhatsApp exposing.
picture. Yeah, and then they were just like, oh, is this you now? And I was like, yeah, this is me. But it was nothing uncomfortable. I've always had the best support from my family. Like,
Yeah, wow.
they're really amazing.
Shout
Those
out.
are my people.
Shout out.
Yeah, I've never really had any struggles with like antagonism within the family. No, I really don't have those struggles.
That's amazing. I love that because that's a privilege in itself. Really,
Yeah.
that's a really privilege in itself because
really
not
is.
everybody gets to like be exposed to that. And you mentioned the fact that like having supportive friends that really kind of introduce you into that introspection about yourself is just like mind blowing to me. I mean, when you became aware of yourself, I mean, there's a process that one goes into to being able to embrace themselves. And not a lot of people have access to that. I mean, when we talk about that, I just want to know like, how was it getting to venture into that part of being yourself? Getting to really just kind of being involved with like embracing yourself and things like that. And like if there was any medical stuff involved. And the reason I ask this is that I want to get to a point of talking about mental health and how that like plays a role in a person's identity. So I simply just want to know is like, how did you begin the process of then coming into yourself?
Oh my gosh, YouTube.
Really?
It really was.
lie.
I'm telling you, it was because I had the word now. I learned the word, and I just started following other people's journey. Google. I was like, there was Jermaine. Like he'd gone through so much of the process in South Africa, and they had detailed everything. Like literally, they detailed everything on their blog, and it made it just so easier. It made me know where I could go get access to meds and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, a lot of people don't have the ability to be able to get into like access to like the proper medication and stuff like that to be able to kind of help them through this process. I mean, I'm very keen to find out what are some of the organizations or like that you were able to work with that were able to help you through this process, and what are these centers that people can go to have access to like like the medication?
I started with public health. I was with Chris Baragwanath for a long time.
Really?
But then the dolls don't have to do that anymore. They can just go to any hospital in Joburg. This is a city, so you don't have to.
Really?
Yeah, I went to like far, and then, but it worked. It was because that was the only reference. But then you can go to Brum. There's another health center in Park
Really?
Station. You can literally go anywhere and just
Like,
go to the endocrine department, and then because that's what they deal with. They deal with your hormones and how they're functioning. So they'll take you through the test, and yeah.
Oh, so they take you through a whole grueling process that needs to happen and stuff like that. That's really amazing. I mean, and a lot of the times that we know that it's like you have to go through like therapy and like a whole process, like a psychological process, evaluation before you even begin the process of taking hormones. Is that true?
Yeah, that's so whack.
Really?
Yeah, it really is whack because it kind of like has this idea, it's rooted in this idea that they know you better and nobody ever knows you better than you know yourself. So that kind of power and transference of taking your own power and giving it into someone's hands to just because they're certified. It's like, no, I know myself. I want to do this. I don't need to be coming here for 6 months. But I don't think that's still like a very stringent part of the process anymore. I think it's been scrapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think it takes, because it used to be like 6 months standard, and
That's
it's like, oh my god, and it's the most excruciating 6 months ever, because this is when you're ready and you're done you're done with everything, and it's like, I don't want to be coming here to see you. I don't want to do this. I just want to take my meds
and just keep going with life. That's amazing, though. But it's not as easy as people think. And I think the reason I asked this is because I don't want people to romanticize the idea, you know, to actually understand that, like, it's actually a whole process for you to be able to get into that and get to finally get to live as you are, you know, because it's that journey. I had a guest here before. His name was Angelo, and he's also a trans man. I mean, trans man, identifies as a transgender man. And we had this conversation, and we were talking about the privilege of having access to things like, you know, hormones and stuff like that, and surgery, and how important are and
it really is a privilege.
Yeah, it's really such a huge privilege, you know. And we spoke about body dysphoria and what that's like, you know, and to be able to experience that. So I'm very keen to find out, is this something that you've experienced where you just feel like, I don't like what I see in the mirror, this is not great? Yeah, and that must be frustrating.
It really is. It's painful, actually. It's just, and it can make connecting with other people difficult, like intimately, because you're always so hyper aware of like certain things, and you know, sometimes you have to, at the end of the day, take all of your armor off, and being vulnerable like that, it's, especially because dating already as a trans person is so difficult.
Yeah.
But there's amazing people out there. But it's complicated.
So amazing people, yeah.
But it's very complicated. So I think also, I think you deal with it. There's no way around it. You have to just go through the fire.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm glad that you just get to embrace it as you go. And you mentioned the fact that like dating is not an easy thing.
No.
You know, and also it just leads me to finding out about like fetishization, and like I feel like sometimes people fetishize like trans bodies.
Yeah.
You know, like they have this idea that like, oh my god, like this is what I never. And you know, what is your opinion on that? Like people fetishizing you like in that way?
My opinion?
Yeah, your opinion. What do you think about it?
I think like it's whack, but it's so part of it.
I think it's a whack.
Yeah, it's one of those that you have to go through it. Like you have to learn, because it's gonna happen. Some people are actually so ruthless, because like they'll tell you all the dreams, but you only learn how to discern which people are actually genuine and which people are only
not.
Yeah, you just have to go through the fire with that as well.
That's true. I mean, what is it like living as a trans woman in South Africa?
In South Africa, it's like it's being hyper visible. It's all the gawks and stares whenever you're at the store. I think it's strength. It takes strength to be yourself and to be on display like that 24/7, even when you don't want to be. Being hyper visible is so painful. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. It's really not nice.
No, you wouldn't.
No, it's just,
I mean, there's also these pressures that come with just being in this community, where people feel like you have to be like passing or extremely feminine for you to be able to just like exist as a trans body.
Yeah, but that's not true. Those are some of the archaic like ideas around how transitioning should be, that I should live my life in stealth and not tell anybody I'm trans. No, we're trans, and we're like this. Whether I have a whole beard going on because I can't afford meds, I'm still trans, still going on. Like it doesn't matter. So I think those ideas need to be dropped. Like we need to start incorporating people who don't fit the mold of what a trans and attractive person looks like. That's boring.
Yeah, that's really
Do
frustrating.
better.
Yeah, the people
Yeah.
do need to do better. They obviously need to do better. I mean, one of the reasons that I reached out to you is because I obviously saw that post that you made to raise funds for your
Yeah.
surgery. I'm very keen to find out like what prompted that decision. And I mean, like a lot of people, tend to want to keep private these things and be like, okay, I'm not gonna tell a lot of people, but I'm raising funds for my surgery.
This is a yummy question for me because like what prompted that was that, and it goes back to that thing of like having the right friends, like having the right people around you. My friend, because I have thought about this for the longest time, but I was so afraid of putting myself out there and then having people not donate. That is like, it would just break me apart.
Yeah.
I would have to rebuild myself in so many ways. And my friend was like, you know what, you need to actually just open your fund and do it. And this is somebody who believes in me in so many incredible ways, sometimes even more than I believe in myself. And when they said that, I literally had this vision that it would just work. And I believed in it for the first time because it was coming from them. And I know how much belief they have in me. And then I did it, and it really, literally, they told me on Monday. And then by Wednesday, I got the link. Thursday, I was like, okay, you're going to put this up. Friday, it was up. It literally happened like that.
And you decided that this is what I'm going to do. And how's the reception? I mean, did you get funded? Did people give you the money?
They did. Oh my God. They really did.
Do you still
They
need more
showed
money?
up.
Because we can let the people know if you need more money.
Unfortunately, I shut it down.
Why did you do that?
Because, like, you know, the riots that happened, I felt so bad centering myself. Like, I need money.
No.
And then also, I really felt bad. I really felt
What?
so bad. I don't know. I have that thing with me where,
Come
like, I'll
on.
overthink. I felt so terrible. And and it was only a month. It was,
Yeah,
there
but
was
I mean,
still so much.
And people were
'cause,
raising
like, you know,
and people were doing it. So did you get some money from it at least?
I did. I really did.
But was it enough? No, it wasn't
No,
enough.
it wasn't enough because it could have been enough.
Yes.
But the thing with a crowdfund is that there's still the VAT that they take and then the bank charges, and they are so hefty.
Really?
They're so hefty
Damn,
that like
I didn't know that actually.
it's kind of pushed me back in a large way, but it's fine. I've figured out a way that I can navigate to still make the dream of getting my tits.
Getting
I'm
my
getting
tits.
the tits.
trying
I'm
to
getting
get my
hotter,
tits.
bitches. Just fucking getting hotter.
I'm trying to get my tits out there, people.
Yeah, so
And how much is it?
I'm
How
still
much is the
gonna
overall
get it
surgery
done.
actually?
depends where you get it. I'd been like
So you've been doing research on it.
Yeah, I was like shopping for a surgeon, and then I was like, she gotta find the best one.
Yeah.
And then it goes up to 100K.
Yo.
Yeah. It's expensive. Being plastic is expensive.
Yeah, that's it. No, but I'm not surprised. I mean, trying to get IVF for gay men is freaking 200K.
It's
I was like, what? Just to have a kid?
Just to have a kid.
Listen, I'm gonna call somebody. We inject in a little cup, and then we just agree we're gonna be the parent of this kid. We do it cheap. Let's go. I'm sure people are thinking this, but
Being
honestly,
modern is very expensive.
it is, right? I'm trying to live this modern lifestyle and be hectic in these streets.
Super expensive.
Yo,
Money.
Yo, but honestly though, thank you so much. I mean, so you canceled the crowdfunding. You're like, I don't want people to,
Yeah. Also, I think that whole period like just disoriented me so much. I even stopped going for my jogs. Like it was just such a weird period because I was really looking forward to like reaching my target.
I'm here for it. So don't you need the money anymore? Aren't you gonna start the crowdfund again?
I think that would be selfish. I'm just gonna have to figure out another way.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're just not gonna do it because you just feel like you don't want to do it again? I mean, I'm sure people that are gonna be
Because
watching
I feel
this.
like.
No, you don't want that anymore.
The thing is, as a result of all of the commotion that's been happening in my life, some opportunities have come back.
Ooh,
So
okay.
she can afford herself now.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So you will get money so that you can be able to do your top surgery.
I will. I'm
Yeah.
definitely getting the top surgery. And you know what's weird as well? My boobs have started growing. No, it's really funny. No, it's really funny.
My boobs are started growing.
It really is funny because like they really have started. I just started new meds like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they've done this before where they grew and then they halted.
Oh my
So I
God.
can't trust them. So I'm still gonna schedule my surgery on the side because I can't trust these. I can't trust this. I love this body. It's incredible. It's done so many things for me, but it's disappointed me before. So I cannot completely rely it. I love you, but I'm still gonna have to keep that money aside and just get
but
cut out.
It's really amazing, and I think you know what I think it's lovely, and I really admire just like your spirit to be able to do that and to put yourself out there, because it just shows that like you know you are allowing other people to be able to just kind of like chime in into the conversation, and you're opening that room up by being able to share yourself in that way. So that's what I appreciate about it. Like when you did that, I was like, oh my God, yeah, girl, I'm gonna share this. I want people to give you money so you can get your top surgery, because you know that's what we need to be doing, you know. And I feel like there needs to be organizations out there that are really, really kind of like doing more for trans people, you know, especially in this country. And I want to get your opinion on like, obviously right now, recently in the country, we've been experiencing a lot of hate crimes that's been happening towards the LGBTQIA plus community, particularly, you know, femme bodies. And it's been just really just havoc. And I just want to get your opinion on what's been happening in the country. And what would you like to say about that, you know?
Oh my God.
Are you upset with the people? Are you mad at them? You hate them? You want to stop? Stop what you're doing.
I think like there's so many things happening at once, you know.
It's crazy.
I think
I know.
for some movements it's really positive things happening, and for the gay movement there's been a lot of traumatic stuff happening. Because for the trans women there's been really amazing strides. Like there's that Becoming show with Yaya. That's
Shout
beautiful.
Out to Yaya.
Shout out to Yaya for real.
Yes.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, and then Miss South Africa, you know,
Lehlogonolo Machaba. That's really beautiful as well. And the fact that just generally black trans women are being centered and it's like community based, like people are rallying behind them. That's so beautiful to see, because for the longest time, people have just been stepping on us. They've been stepping on us for the longest time. So it's just so beautiful. But then it's also like so many tragic things happening, because the lesbian community has been like attacked for the longest time, and not many people were talking about it. They would make newspapers, but we weren't rallying. And now that gay men are also under attack, I see more people getting engaged, and it's like it didn't have to get to the point where men are getting attacked for us to be rallying around these unjust deaths. So that's weird. There's just a lot going on
happening right now.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about this whole idea that like in the queer movement in general, that gay men in particular tend to be at the center of everything, which then kind of just like silences the other people that are part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And I say this because I was hosting at the Gay Superhero Space, and you better spill that tea, Han. I was hosting the Gay Superhero Space, and I was with other trans women, and they were saying to me that like, yo man, like we feel as though like we're marginalized even within the community, because everything is just centered around gay men in particular. And they often are the ones that are instigating for change, and they're fighting for these things. What about us? You know, what about our issues and the things that we go through?
I think it goes back to patriarchy. I think
very much so.
And as much as
Very
gay men
much
are
so.
gay men, they still men at the end of the day. So it's
Facts,
kind of
T.
like complicated, because like even the fact what's recently come of like the whole domestic violence case between our two you know, stars and you know, a lot of the stuff, there's still so much trauma and healing to be done within the community of the LGBTQI. Because a lot of it has been focused on men are trash, and that's like most particularly like cis het men. But a lot of healing has to come from the gay community as well, because they are some of the biggest patriarchs. They are some of the most misogynistic groups of people, and it gets swept under the rug so easily. And it's just, you know, take responsibility, y'all. I'm talking to y'all.
All right, listen, it's been really a lovely chat that we've been having today. I've enjoyed it so much. I think it's such an informed one, because we get to walk away with so much. And I think what I appreciate is honesty. And I think one of the reasons that I created this platform is the fact that people at home can be able to see themselves, you know, and be able to identify with your story in particular. What would you like to say to another person out there, particularly a young person who is of your identity and, you know, sees this and is lost and is feeling like, oh my gosh, I'll never get to be happy, or they went through a difficult time and they just don't know how to like really see a way out?
I would say like be creative with your life. Like seriously, be creative with your life. Create the life you want to live. A lot of people wait for the life they want to live and they don't create it. You will never live the life you want to live if you don't create it. Like, seriously, every day. What do you want to look like? Do the
Tea.
things that will make you look like that. Like, just chase your goals, chase your visions, because that's the only way you're going to create the best life for yourself.
Yeah.
Be creative.
Be creative. You heard it for yourself, everybody. That is Glow Mami. She done came, she done conquered, she done saw. But it ain't over yet. Yo, you'll know it ain't over, right? Because we're about to play Who Would You Top Bottom Others? Ding, 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 ding. All right, so we give you 3 options, and then you get to decide who would you top bottom of first. So we've got Adekunle Gold, we've got Thando, and we've got Lasizwe. So who would you top bottom of first?
I would definitely, I'm gonna have to top the Caesar. Like, it's not happening.
For real?
I am actually, like... Yeah, La Suizwe.
Yes.
And I guess Dumantando's gonna have to peg me.
Top, so you get top.
No, I'm gonna bottom for Dumantando.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So they have to pick me. And then I think I really am into Kunle. So I would want to experience them in as much as they can experience me. So I'm gonna have to, it's a verse situation.
A birth situation.
Yeah, it's so yummy. Oh my God.
He's gorgeous.
And when I'm whispering in my ear, come to me, baby. He's so hot.
Oh,
I can't
mommy,
resist.
this has been really lovely.
Thank you.
This has been beautiful. Like, thank you so much for just sharing yourself with us today. And honestly, I wish you could start that fund again so that you can let people know. And
I
like,
really wish.
Yeah.
Maybe for another, like,
for
purpose.
another purpose.
Maybe like to start, like, I don't know.
yeah, something, because we love you and we love what you're doing and we love the being that you are. So
Somebody was like, I could start crowdfunding for other people.
you could.
Through myself.
Yeah,
and then
'cause you
just
have
like, hey,
influence.
here's this person. And then, like, and I thought that was a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
So maybe that.
That could be
I think,
amazing
because
because you have the
I've, like,
presence.
thanks.
Yeah,
That's
you
sweet.
do. You have the presence.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It was really a good time. I really enjoyed it.
Right?
I really
Keep that.
did.
Keep that. Oh my gosh. Everybody, it's been really, really lovely getting to do this show. This is the Gay Superhero. Adios, muchachos. Bye, bye.